Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Professor Sistrom coming to the students with another lab. Okay, in this particular lab, we're going to break down and continue to follow processes. We're going to do a little deeper dive on processes. Now remember, this is the beginning of understanding CyberOps cybersecurity. So I want you to take your time with these labs. And I also want to explain some about these labs. You know, we as students, we have a tendency, let's just rush through the lab, get the lab out the way, rush through the lab. The way I've built this course is that you will have 6 labs, between 5 to 6 labs per week. Now, what do that really mean? If you just take your time and do a lab every day, that's 6 days, that's 6 labs. Trying to do labs back to back, really will defeat the purpose of what the lab is truly all about. It's about you learning how to access and correct problems with these particular tools. But rushing through the labs or doing the labs on one day just to knock them out will literally hurt you from being able to get in this industry. If you truly want to know how to be a cyber security individual, you have to take your time. It's not a race. No one's going to get to the finish line and say, oh, I'm cybersecurity now. Now, in truth, when I say take your time, I know that you are on a particular schedule. That's why I have broken the labs down to where you can cover them within the week without taking too much time. And I know some people, they're going to go through the labs quick, and some people, they're going to take hours to go through the labs. My thing is this, I'm going to bet on the person that's going to be thoughtful in taking their time to understand what they're doing. I want the individual to really take their time so they can understand these processes or these labs. Each lab will present you with a different situation, a different scenario, and you have to understand these scenarios. Now, if you're not an individual that's reading through the lab, you don't understand the concepts of theory and then moving into the concepts of practical application. Remember, I said in my earlier video that theory is while you're reading through the labs, understanding the chapter information, and beginning to understand the quizzes, the exams, and stuff, so you can get your mind wrapped around what you're doing. Practical applications is actually walking through the labs. If you're not doing both of them and doing them in a thoughtful manner, you have to ask yourself, do you really want to be a cybersecurity specialist? Be a CISCO CyberOps Associate. That's up to you. But just shooting through this, I see people that's almost on chapter 5 with labs, and I'm like, wow, did you read the chapter? Come on, people, take your time. You wanted to get in this class, you in here now. Let's make sure you understand the material. As I go through these labs, I'm going to explain everything I possibly can to give you a clue of why you're doing it. So with that being said, let's go into the lab. But we're following on the same process. We in the Windows environment, learning how to pay attention to the processes that run in the background. You know, those short programs that keep your computers and systems functioning. So you just heard me talk about the structure and the purpose of these labs. That's important. Please do not rush through these labs. Truly try to learn the material. But if you rush through it, that's okay too. If this is not the field you want to be in, that's your prerogative, as they say. My prerogative, if you know that song. Okay, so let's move on. I'm having too much fun. So in this particular lab, this is 3.2.11 lab, exploring processes, threads, handles, and Windows Registry. Now I'm gonna say it in the beginning, and you're gonna hear me repeat it. Be careful messing with the register. Listen, that is critically dangerous to be playing around with. Now, a lot of these labs will help you go to your desktop and work on things. Just make sure you understand what you're doing. Take your time. Be patient. Okay, with that being said, let the buyer beware. The objective in this lab, you will explore the process threads and handles using Process Explorer. Go to my web page and pull that prior lab down if you haven't watched it. You know what that is. That's 303. Okay. We're going to do this. We're going to explore processes, exploring threads and handles, and exploring the Windows register. In the instructions, it just clearly says in this part, you will explore processes. You already know what processes are now. Now you explore them. Processes are programs and applications in execution. Remember that. Programs and applications in execution. We're going to open up an application which is called Firefox. And you have to make sure you understand what you're doing. Just make sure you understand. Okay, I'm going to let you read the rest of this. Let's move on. Explore an active process. So I already logged in. You see that. I'm going to go ahead. Well, I haven't logged in. I'm here. So let's go ahead and log in real quick and get this show on the road. Hopefully I won't misspell the actual password. You know what it is because you're working in here too. Now I have a password here. Now a student asked me earlier, and I'm going to move my face over here right there because I'm not going to use this section. But a student asked me earlier, the student said, hey, professor, this is a lot. And it is a lot. It should be a lot. This career, cybersecurity, or working in a SOC center, or working remotely, pays a lot of money. Now I know as an entry-level associate, it may not be as much as you want, but 60 grand is quite a few dollars in your pocket and going up. And I mean, the sky's the limit here. The more you learn, the higher you get paid. And we'll look at some of those salaries out there for beginner, SOC, or security specialists. Okay, so here we go now. So we're going to go back into the toolbox. Let's get that open. Let me make sure I only open it once because I like to click away. From there, I'm going to make this full screen just in case you cannot see it. I'm also going to double click and open this up, and then I'm going to go to this particular process here. It wants me to open up this or go to this process, so that's where I'm going to go, okay? So I'm going to shoot down here. And remember, everything is in alphabetical order, so it's no surprises. You don't have to search around. You can do a quick search over here, but I'm just going to follow the normal process that I follow. So I'm looking for PROCEX. PRO, let's go up some. I think I went too far down. PROCEX, and there it is right there. We see it. And I'm going to go ahead and it says open it. So I'm going to right click because my mouse is acting a little funny. So I'm going to right click on things to open them up. You don't have to do that. That's just my way of doing it. I'm going to hit the agreement button and I'm going to blow that up too so you can see everything. And when I say blow it up, I just simply mean expand it. So with that being said, you can see all the processes. Now, people, these are the processes that work in the background. These are the processes that keep your system functioning healthy. But the reason you're learning about this is because when hackers attack you, they attack these processes. And that's why you need to know this, okay? So let's go ahead and complete the assignment. So we have it open up. We followed those particular steps. Now it says the Process Explorer displays currently active processes that's running in the background, and it wants me to open up Mozilla. So I'm gonna come to the bottom of the processor so you can see it happen in real time, and I'm just gonna simply click on Mozilla And when it begins to open, I'm going to move it out the way. You can see that some activity already started happening. So that's all you did. You launched a process, or you launched an application, and that application was a process that opened up in the background to function within your system. Okay, now we did that so we can see we found it. Now I'm going to go ahead and kill that process. Now, this is an important thing. So when you're asked to kill those processes, it simply means close them out, shut them down because they're hurting your system. In this particular case, of course, Mozilla is not causing any damage to my application. I'm just showing you how to kill processes, and that's what we did. We click there. So that process, and that was really simple to do, and it was taken care of. Now you have to answer the question, what happened to the web browser window when the processor is killed? Okay, what happened to the web browser window you can see right here, okay? And if I shrink these things down, you can see right here. I'm not going to answer the question for you. You know what happened. Okay, let's move on. I think you clued up on that one. Okay, so now the next thing is I'm going to go open up the command prompt. And like I said, it takes your time to get quick with this, but don't worry, you will learn if you give yourself the opportunity to learn how to move quickly through this. Okay, so I'm gonna hit enter, and then that is, I went to CMD and I opened the command prompt, and you can see the command prompt process at the bottom. And what you notice is this two connection. You got a child. I say the baby all the time, but you have a child processor. That's the appropriate term in the industry, child processor, and you have the original processor. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm using terms that should be expressed better. But right here it says here, the CMD EXE has a child processor co-host EXE. So you see that right there, okay? When I open that account up. So where are we going from there? Okay, it says go to options. It says here, once you do that, in the Process Explorer, go to options. So options is right here. I'm gonna click on that, and I'm gonna go down to select on top. I don't like to do this because I like when I open a processor, it jumps in front. And once I click that, that means this is gonna stay on top. And whenever I open something up, it's gonna fall to the background. See, you don't even see CMD. It's in the background. You just place that on top so you can see what happened. And in this particular situation, they only want you to do that so you can see the activities that's happening in the processor window while you're doing the work. But you can clearly see when I shorten this that CMD is in the background. It's just that it can't take the lead because I put this particular window on top. That's all that was. Okay, moving right along. I'm gonna move this over to the side just a little, and then I'm gonna ping this process here. I'm gonna go PNG, ping, and I'm gonna go 192.168.0.1. Okay, so I'm gonna hit enter. Now, you're not concerned about what the ping is actually doing. You're gonna learn that as we proceed to go forward in the class. But right now, it's saying destination host unreachable. Don't get caught up into that. You just wanna see what happens when these processes are happening. So I didn't show you what happened when I did it, so I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna put it up there. Now watch this window right here carefully and watch what happens when I hit enter. So you see this right here? It's pinging. It's executing a ping, meaning ping simply means that I'm trying to reach another computer. That's all. Or I'm trying to reach my own computer. So that's what that means. I'm trying to establish a connection with another computer. That's all, okay? But don't get caught up in the language of what's happening with the ping. And I'm going to take this off because it's getting on my nerves. Excuse me, people. It's getting on my nerves. Okay, now I'm going to click on this. Okay, so don't get caught up in this right now. You will learn this as we proceed through the course if you don't know it. But just make sure you're seeing what processes are happening as you execute those. And you're going to answer the question. Make sure you answer all my questions, people. I need these documents. So you're going to upload them into the assignment folder. Don't shortcut me. Now, with that being said, it says right-click the CMD and close it out and kill the process. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I could right-click here, kill process. You know exactly what would happen when the process ends. We got rid of it. Okay, so that was the first part. Pretty simple. Just what is your takeaway? Okay, your takeaway is this. You learned how to execute a process. Once you did that, you were able to kill that process, and you use two different applications to see what happens when processes are happening. Now, you don't normally see this. This happens in the background. Okay, now let's go ahead and move into part 2, exploring threads and handles. So make sure you get these definitions down so you can keep them. They short definitions, but you want to keep them so you can understand them. A handle is an abstract reference to memory blocks or objects managed by an operating system. Okay. You will use Process Explorer, the same app we've been using since we're in here. So what I'm going to do is open up Command Prompt. Again, I'm going to come over here again, and go CMD, open that up. Of course, it's in the forefront, but you know things are happening down here. You know what processes are doing now. From there, I'm going to go into the processes here. I'm going to go ahead and right-click on the co-host, which is the child processor. And I'm going to click on the properties. Now let's see what happens here. Okay, so we clicked on the properties, and you see that you got multiple tabs up in here. But we only want to focus on one particular tab and see what happens. As you can see right now in this particular tab, nothing is happening. So I'm going to click in the next tab and then come back. Okay, I see that in the background. Let me go back there and get that. Booyah, there you go. So you have to make sure you pay attention to the particulars that's happening, because sometimes you have to click on OK to open up something. So in the background, because I have all these screens open, things are happening. And I have students saying, well, you got all these screens, Professor, and I can't see things. Calm down, calm down. Work with the processor. When they paying you that 80, 90, 100 grand, you gonna work with it. Let me stop busting jokes. Moving right along. Okay, so we can see that this processor up here. And all you really need to do is just understand what's in here. And then as time goes on, we're gonna explain it more. So we click OK on the button, and it says examine the details of the thread, or what type of information is available in there. I'm gonna let you answer that question. I'm not gonna answer it for you, but you can see what type of information in here. And let me say this. It's saying I'm running out of time. Let me go up here and give myself some more time. I like this here. Give me some more time. I need more time. It says request more time. Let me see. It says the lab restriction has been extended. Okay, so I got more time. I went to 45 minutes. See, now you see why I love this particular application. I can give myself more time. Okay, moving right along. And I'm glad that happened in the midst of this. So some people be like, oh, it kicked me out. Give yourself more time. If you just come right here and click on reservations, you can give yourself more time. Now, don't do it 100 times because it's not going to do that. Okay, with that being said, the point of this exercise is to simply show you what threads and things that are going on. You're going to learn a lot about this. But if you come over here, you will see activities happening here. And I should have kept that on top, but I'm gonna move on. Okay, let's move on. So I'm gonna cancel out of this because I don't need it anymore. We just did a basic exercise in it, and we're gonna continue to learn more and more about these activities. Okay, so step 2, explore handles. Now handles is a different location to get. I'm actually gonna come up here and click on view. And from there, I'm gonna go down and click on where it wants me to click, lower panel right here. And then I'm gonna choose handles. Okay, and there you go. Now we're gonna do a process where this information is gonna disappear. So some students don't understand when they are doing this. They don't understand that you can actually cancel this out so no one will see it. Why will you do that? Well, sometimes you need to do it, sometimes you don't. But anyway, the point is you can cancel this out. So we know how to get there. It said handles to view the handles associated with this particular. So for these particular co-host EXE, these are the handles associated with it. Meaning, you know, all type of programs that's connected to it. Okay, keeping it simple. Okay, so we did that. We're gonna close this here. I'm gonna go ahead and close. It says close the process, explore, and the command prompt. So I'm just gonna go ahead and close both of them. Booyah, they're closed. Now we're gonna go mess around with the register, and then you're gonna see why we made those changes. So I'm gonna keep the register short and sweet because I really do not want you to mess around in this, but I want you to do the lab so you can understand it. But this is an area where I like to go back to a movie I like to watch called Danger, Will Robinson, Danger. Because you don't want to mess around in here. This is really dangerous. So I am going to open it up now. I'm going to go down here, click on a search, and I'm just going to type in Reg Edge. Just type it in real quick. R-E-G, excuse me, I thought that would be it. That's not it. E-D-I-T. There it is right there. So I'm going to open that up. And that was real quick. I'm gonna open it up so you can see everything, and I'm just gonna follow through the steps. I'm gonna let you read this about the different classifications within the Reg Edge or the register, but you can go ahead and read that. I'm just gonna move to the steps. So the first thing I'm gonna do is come down here and click on this particular key here, and you'll hit me title mask keys because normally that's what we call them in the industry. And from there, I'm gonna go to software right here. And from software, I'm gonna come down here and click on the next one, which would be CIS internal. So I'm gonna look for that, and there it is. And in CIS internal, I'm gonna click on this here, process explorer. And I'm gonna click on that to highlight it. Now, if you see me seem like I'm double clicking, it's just my mouse is acting weird. I know what the problem is. I need to put batteries in it, but hey, you know me. I'm gonna wait till the very last minute like most humans to do the job, right? Right. Okay, so I'm gonna come right here to this folder here, and I'm gonna double click on it and open it up. As you can see right here, it's open up. It has a 1 in there. I know I'm not reading through the particular details, but I know what it's actually asking me. Now I'm gonna change this 1 into a 0, and that's gonna change the output that comes out. It's gonna accept it, and I did that. Now I am gonna go back to the Explorer. I'm gonna shrink this screen down and go back to the Explorer just to see what I actually did. Okay, so I'm back in here, and I want to go to that particular file. Close that out. I told you my mouse is acting weird. Don't worry about it. I'll fix it. That don't stop the show. The show must go on. Let me stop playing. Okay, so I'm gonna go look for this particular file here, and it's right here. And this time I'm gonna right click so I can just open it up without any problems. You don't have to do it that way. That's just the way I'm doing it. Okay, and it didn't look like it opened up. Let me go back to it. Okay, it opened up, but That's not what I want. Close that. I am in a dump and I don't want to be in the dump file. Let me go back to it. So PRO right here. Okay, let's do the right one. I think we got. See, even the professor makes mistakes. Stay with me. Now you can see by me putting that 0 in there, you do not see the fallout below. As I said, that's what you're doing. You're learning. When you open the Processor Explorer, what did you see? You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell you the answer. You have to figure it out. But that's it. As you can see, these particular assignments, you need to make sure you buckle down and take your time to learn what you are doing. This is in the Windows environment and you will have multiple processes that you're working with. Just make sure you understand it. And like I told the student, if you can't get in contact with me, you know I have open office hours 11 to 12 p.m. Monday through Thursday. If you can't get in contact with me, simply look at a YouTuber and see what they're doing. I don't downplay that. Knowledge is out there. Go for it. Don't just hold yourself to me. Just get as much as knowledge as you possibly can. But I will say this, and this is serious. Take your time, because each one of these labs build on the next lab, and you have to know this material. And when you go before that hiring manager, you want to demonstrate your skill set. If you got 15 labs done in 3 days, that don't impress me. It just says you do not know the information. And I can walk right up to you and say, do this, and you wouldn't be able to do it. You're doing this because you want to work in this industry. So take your time to make sure you understand this. With that being said, this is Professor Sistrunk, and I will see you in the next lab.